morning, everybody. Jan Hicks of Jan Hicks Creates here. Welcome back. It is, let's start out with this. Tuesday, August 6th, 9:06 in the morning, 81 degrees and mostly cloudy. The Hurricane Flossie is passing north of the island, so we are supposed to be getting some rain and humidity. So it's not going to be anything major. I don't even think she's still a tropical storm. She might be a tropical depression at this point. But anyways, not a big deal here. August. How did it get to be August? I swear, we just moved into this apartment, and that was 8 months ago. It's crazy. School did start here on Monday. They start rather earlier than any other place I've lived. They do get an extra week off in October, so that would explain it. A lot of the schools here do not have air conditioning, so not a pleasant, it hopefully will start to get more mild once August is over. I don't know. I'm new here, right? But yeah, that wouldn't be fun. Let's see, life update. Let me look at my notes. Photos at the beginning. This past weekend, Mike and I went to the lookout called Tantalus Lookout that looks out over the city, downtown Honolulu, Waikiki, Diamond Head. It's where we actually meant to go last weekend. And yeah, we obviously didn't understand the instructions we were given. So we made it back there this weekend. Lovely, lovely view. So you see some of those. We also then went over, we were planning to go to the I think it's the Makapu'u Lighthouse. It's one of the most eastern points on Oahu. We got there about, 11:30, 12. It was packed. It was just packed. It's a paved walk up to the lighthouse. So, it's an easy walk for a lot of people. It's all out in the sun. I forgot to take my sun hat with me. It was uphill and then downhill. And we got there and I was just like, something, honey, I just am not feeling this. So she's like, wave off. So we did a couple stops along the coast on the ride up, stopped and got lunch at a Maui Mike's. It's a fire roasted chicken place, local here on the island. There's one in Wahiwa, which is much closer. We were over in Kailua. But yeah, so check that out. Good gluten-free stuff, which is always a win. And then came home and slept. We love our naps here at this house. So yeah, that's the photos that you saw at the beginning, the photos and the videos. Lots of lovely waves crashing over there because of Eric passing that day down south of the island, Hurricane Eric, which wasn't a hurricane at that point. It was a tropical depression or whatever. So yeah, Mike and I have decided to go ahead and restart the keto diet. This will be our third time eating keto. The first two times we certainly had success, but it's a hard diet to keep to. You get to a point where you just really start missing the carbs. And maybe we didn't go long enough to get over that kind of hump. I mean, we went for at least a year or two both times. There are so many benefits. The second time we actually stopped because Mike's mother, otherwise known as the Chinese mother-in-law, lovingly and jokingly. Mike's family on her side has a history of heart disease, heart problems, high cholesterol problems, and she's just basically terrified that he's going to have her father died of a heart attack in his 70s. She always makes it sound like he died like very young. He was in his 70s, but she does have an uncle who died in his 50s of heart disease. So she's very worried for Mike. Mike has had all the tests done and his heart is fine, but she was she was worried enough and weighed on her mind enough that we actually backed off keto at that point. She was trying to point us to the Mediterranean diet because that's what the Mayo Clinic recommends. There's just a whole lot in the Mediterranean diet that we don't like to eat. So, anyways, the main reason we're going back to keto is, number one, to lose weight. We are both sucking at losing weight at this point. But also the arthritis is starting to come back in Mike's fingers, in his thumbs specifically. It totally goes away when he eats keto. So yeah, we started Sunday. I'm still kind of in the keto flu-ish area. We still have to stock up on all the stuff you need to eat keto. Mostly we need like the stuff to make sweet treats with, and just any kind of snack type stuff. That's the hardest, and especially sitting here at home, I need something to satisfy me, to keep me going. Otherwise, I mean, we pretty much got rid of everything, but we still have chocolate chips. I ordered some of the Lily's chocolate chips that we got all the time when we were eating keto before. They are a stevia, I think, and erythritol sweetened chocolate chips, so they are keto friendly. So yeah, I've lost 1.8 pounds this week. It is not just water weight. So we're gonna keep moving forward. Wish us luck on this. Let's see, in the Flosstube world, there is another Flosstube collaboration going on. I told you a week or so ago about the one on designers. This time it's on fibers. 10 different Flosstube creators talk about what their favorite fibers are. And I watched Tamara, This Nana Stitches first, and she said of those 10 different Flosstube creators, nobody's repeating anybody else's choices. So that's a lot of floss choices out there, fiber choices. Tamara did highlight Mrs. Sada's Silks. Raquel, Mrs. Sada's, offered 20% off from the 4th to the 11th of anything in her store. Her store sold out overnight. I don't blame you guys. I mean, her prices are fantastic to begin with, and then a 20% discount. She is rapidly, I talked to her last night, kind of congratulating her again on, having such a great product. And she does have a cold, but she is trying to get stuff dyed and back in the shop. She doesn't like to take orders when it's not in stock. She doesn't want to operate her shop that way. So she is dyeing as we speak, I'm sure. Well, let's see, it's 9 p.m. over there, so maybe not, but she is feeling under the weather, so hopefully she'll be able to get some more inventory up soon. But again, congratulations, Raquel. I think that is awesome, and I know everybody who got your silks is just gonna love them. Let's see, Karen Needlebug. If I mentioned last week how she has the For Love of Diagonal Stitching on Facebook, a group that she created. There have been multiple threads this past week on using Knit Companion for cross stitch because Karen, as I mentioned, just recently discovered it. We've had multiple conversations and I kind of clued her in on some things on how to use it the best. She's just loves it. So she's been talking about it, other people have been talking about it, and Karen has also done additional videos on how to use Knit Companion for cross stitch. I think it's great to have somebody who's a new user do these videos because she has a different perspective. I've been using it since it came out, and she actually shared something that I wasn't even aware of because I've been using it for so long. I use it the way I use it, and Knit Companion added a new feature that I wasn't even aware of. So Karen, I think it's awesome that you're sharing these videos. If anybody out there thinks, hey, she's stepping on Jan Hicks' toes, she's not at all. We are together on this like this. I think it's perfect. And also sharing I think my goal for continuing to share Knit Companion, and my love that Karen has gotten on board and she's sharing it as well, is that I would love for the Knit Companion team to create a cross-stitch specific app. Cross-stitch companion sounds like the perfect thing. And really, it's coming from somebody who hasn't a clue what it takes, right? You really would just have, for the most part, to have to take the functionality that already exists in Knit Companion and separate it out into its own app just for cross stitch. Seems like an easy thing to me. Anyways, I think I actually dropped a little seed in Sally, the main Knit Companion developer, when I first did the videos on Knit Companion. I might poke that little pile of weeds again and see what happens. She's very busy with a lot of plans she has for Knit Companion, and then another app she has out called Pattern Genius, which is an app for knitwear designers to create their patterns. But anyways, I'm hoping. Let's see. The New Jersey retreat, the Flosstube retreat in New Jersey, happened this past weekend. I loved seeing all the pictures from the different people there. Michelle was there, Letitia was there, Ginger Gerald was there, Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts came down from Canada. Arlene Cohen, of course, was there. Of course, she organizes it. Just, it brought back just great memories of StitchCon, so it was fun to see those. There's also another East Coast retreat coming up for those that might live in the area, in the greater Virginia area. Miss Oh So Crafty organizes a retreat called Stitch Fest in Herndon, Virginia. I believe I read yesterday that it is filled, but I encourage you, like always, to get on the waiting list. I think that one is in October. But get on the waiting list, because you never know. Last minute life happens and people have to drop out, and it just, being on the waiting list, you get your opportunity. So if you're in that area, I highly encourage it. Let's see. Common Threaded Stitcher, I mentioned this on my Stitch With Me video on Friday. It is going on Instagram. It was created by Kia B Quilting and her husband, the Tech Guy in the Hive, I think is his Instagram name. It's just a list of different prompts for every day in August to share little bits about yourself so that we all get to know each other in the community. I will admit, I did one day. I have the best of intentions, and then like 80s hair, I have that picture right there. I have the best of intentions, but the day gets away from me and I don't do it. But I encourage everybody to do it, because it is a lot of fun to read the other entries. If you're on Instagram, or if you've been thinking about getting on Instagram but haven't, now's a great time to do it, because the community is just really alive right now with a lot of great posts. Victorian Motto. Victorian Motto has created 2 new floss sets, one of blues and one of greens. And of course there is a giveaway. I haven't ordered the blue one yet, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do that today. It is just, blues. How can you go wrong? So if you aren't a follower yet of Victorian Motto, I will put the link below to her blog. That's what you want to do, is go to her blog and follow her blog, which is just a matter of putting your email address in a little box and sending it in. And then you make a comment on her post on the blog about that giveaway. And then you get it entered into the drawing. So, like I said, I'll put the link below. I encourage everybody to go check out her flosses. They are gorgeous. The other things that happened this week, one of you lovely people, and I'm sorry I don't remember who, pointed out to me a guild in England and in Great Britain called the Cross Stitch Guild. It was started by the author designer Jane Greenoff. She is known, I think, for samplers, reproduction, and all hardanger. I mean, just all kinds of gorgeous stuff like that. The So there's a lot of patterns you can buy on the site. If you join, you get a magazine that comes out 5 times a year that has patterns and articles and lots of cool information, as well as a discount to the website. I got the 3-month taster. They have a 3-month taster option in addition to like a full year subscription. I got the 3-month taster. They will be sending me a magazine and some other goodies, and it does allow me the 10% discount. So I know they sent the package, so I will show it to you when I get it, and I will let you know what I think of it all. The other thing I joined was the Silver Needle, a little help from our friends club. You know, I stopped all of my clubs when we moved out here, and I've been thinking about which one I want to join. And for a while I was thinking the Color and Cotton Floss of the Month club. I believe that's filled up. It's hard to get into some of these different clubs because they're at their limit, like the Silks for You Silk of the Month club. I'd love to get into that, but that's filled up and has a waiting list. So I went ahead and joined this Friends Circle. The lineup of designers is fantastic. It starts in October and you get a pattern every other month until June. So I will put the link for that below. The signups are still going on, so I hope you will join me in that. And I think that's all the newsy things. Stitching. Well, let's start with punch needle. That's easier to talk about. So here is my Michelle Palmer Ranunculus Bouquet piece. So pretty. So as you can see, I have all the flowers filled in, and this morning I finished filling in the background, you know, the piece that comes up in the back in one of these salt cellar crocks. So I got that filled in. Next, I'll probably fill in the crock itself and then start on the background. I also watched, and I have to remember, let me put a note here. I watched on YouTube this week a video by Not Forgotten Farm it was actually a link that was shared in one of the Punch Needle Facebook groups, but I don't remember the name of the designer at Not Forgotten Farm. I'm sorry about that. She showed a video on how to fuse together a patterned fabric, like, you know, any type of cotton quilting fabric, together with your weaver's cloth and punch through both layers. And so what you're doing, you still have the weaver's cloth and the design showing on the back where you punch, but on this side what's showing is the fabric that you fuse together with the weaver's cloth. So what that does is, I could have, if I had seen that beforehand, I could have done that fusing and just punched this, and then the quilt fabric becomes the background. So for a lot of these punch needle designs where you have like just a solid background to fill in, you wouldn't necessarily have to. You could just use some kind of patterned fabric as your background. I love that idea, and that is something I will be trying. But anyways, I'm just working on this about an hour a day. I only worked on it, the background to fill in. Actually, I had filled this in the day before. I had to fill this in. That probably was only about 15 minutes this morning. So I'll work a little bit more on this today and get probably a good chunk of the crock filled in. So that is that. Stitching. All right, guys. I was still pretty much monogamous until last night. This is Fractal Bookmark 705. This was the March free pattern from Cross Stitch Collectibles. So I finished another diagonal, and I say diagonal-ish because you can see, I mean, some of this was what I had been working on before, but there's a lot of this that I strayed away from the diagonal. Obviously I love it, right? Look at these sections here, like with these bright splotches in between the dark. The shading on this is just gorgeous. Whether you look at it up close or look at it far away, I am in love. Now this is the edge of the bookmark, so my next diagonal is just coming down here. I did start it yesterday, and it's coming down here. I'm loving it. This is 28 count, even weave over 1 over 1. This is all DMC threads. Joanne gave me the lovely idea of putting one of my few needle minders, but I'm glad I have one, and this is a nice light one, to kind of wrap my stray threads, the parked threads around that I'm not going to be using for a while. These are the ones that are active up here. I know this is like something that all of you guys know that do full coverage pieces. You're like, duh, Jan. But Joanne, I do appreciate that tip, because it's just brilliant. And like I said, I have a needle minder that's light enough that when I'm stitching in hand, it's not dragging down too much on everything. It's just gorgeous. I do have the blinds down, so it's a little bit darker in here than usual. Last night I decided to break out a little bit and pick up my mushrooms again. This is Mushrooms Botanica from Elisa Ochnius. Not so much because this was calling to me, but because I want to get it done so I can get it framed and ready for when the boys come out here in October. So I did this last night and filled in this, started this section up here. There's still bits and pieces of stitches through here that I have to fill in. I have to say, going from 28 count over 1 to, this is 28 count over 2, I believe. It was like, holy cow, is this easy? It was a nice break, I do have to admit that. And the colors on this are just luscious. I might try doing some of the back stitching, like up in here. I think all of the stitches are done in here. Start putting in the back stitching, not only just to get started on it, but just to see it come alive with the back stitching. It's pretty lively right now though, right? So, you know, I'm constantly thinking about how do I handle all these projects, especially when I get stuck on one like the bookmark, the fractal, because I do, and in fact what I'm going to show you next really brought back to me how much I really do want to work on my other ones too. Oh my God, I know I did this to myself. What I think I'm going to do though, so I can keep putting stitches in this because I don't want to put this away. I am on a roll with it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think I'm going to make this one my hour a day, or maybe this will be like my daytime project. Anytime I get a chance to stitch during the day, I'll work on this. But my evening project will be something else. So that the mushrooms for now, to get that done, and some of the other smaller projects, or just whatever catches my fancy. Because I do need to put stitches and other things too. And this one, you know, I could say I work on this till done, but this is going to take a long time. I mean, even this small one, I'm sure if I worked on this consistently as I have been, I'd be done with this by the end of the year easily. But I don't want to spend all that time on just one project. Do I? I feel like part of my obligation to you guys is to be showing more stuff too, so that weighs in the back of my mind as well. All right, goodies. I didn't get much this week. I did, along with the joining the Silver Needle Club, I did order a few patterns from them as well. I don't remember what they are, so they'll surprise me when they come. But I did get something in the mail from a friend. Now this is from Marion, and I asked her how she pronounces her last name, but I didn't ask till to this. I didn't ask till this morning, so I haven't heard back yet. So Marion Gammenthaler or Gamenthaler, she is, I can't read backwards and I forgot. Caddy Cross Stitches is her username on Instagram. She is setting up a shop, an Etsy shop. She is doing little snippety things that are kind of like to catch your orts and stuff, like one of these felt things to put on the arm of your chair. But we also talked about muslin bags. Now this is very hard for me to hold up because it is very floppy. This is a storage bag. And she asked me what size I would make, and I said I'd like something big to hold my big projects in. So she went out and got some really nice cotton muslin. It's a very fine quality. And it's just like an envelope, just folded over, there's no closure. And Marion, I'm thinking I might like some kind of closure. Because what I've done, my original intention was to lay my projects flat. But instead, I decided I wanted to, I showed you my DIY needle case that's just a pillow sham rolled up with some of my projects rolled up in it. And so it keeps them nice and flat. It's a very compact way to store stuff. But I was finding that because I had so many in here, I was finding that when I opened it up and had to pull something out, number one, I don't have a good place in the apartment that's flat and big enough to unroll it the whole way and kind of move stuff off that isn't covered with cat fur. It's just a fact of life here. And I just hate having my stitching covered with cat fur. I know a lot of people are more tolerant of it. I'm not. So I found it to be kind of a pain to unroll it and then try and get out whichever project I was trying to reach. So Mary and I were talking, and she wanted to know what size I wanted this to be. So I gave her kind of a big size, because what I've done is, and so my original intention, like I started to say, was to have things laid flat, have projects laid flat in here. But having experienced what a pain it was to have them laid flat in my impromptu project roll there and trying to get things out, I knew that trying to get things out of this envelope would be even more of a pain. So what I've done is taken my big projects, and I've actually taken a picture because it's just, this is floppy. This is going to be stored flat with nothing on top of it. But let me see if I can do this. If not, I have taken a picture to show you. So I have my projects rolled up in here. See that? And so they will stay rolled up, laying one next to the other, just laying flat in my wardrobe downstairs. So this was a prototype. Marion wanted to send it to me and have me try it out and let her know what I think. So again, the quality of the fabric is spectacular. The sewing is spectacular. I like the idea of an envelope because it is easy to get in and out of, but I do think it needs some kind of closure. So that's my 2 cents on that. I also got yesterday the things I ordered from the Russian shop, the shop that participated in our giveaway, and 2 kits from them. I am going to do a video tomorrow. I'm going to do that in a separate video showing you what those kits look like and how pretty they are. No new starts, Jan. Although she did want me, I think, to kind of try them out. So, you know, it's more like a business work type thing, right? If I start one of them, Oh, wait till you see the one. It's so cute. So yeah, I'll be doing that video tomorrow. Friday will be a stitch with me. Don't know what I'll be stitching on. What do you want me to stitch on? And I know everybody's going to say shades of gold, so why do I even ask, right? Let me know what you want me to stitch on Friday. The one with the most responses wins. And see, this is another thing. So as I was taking my projects out of my DIY fabric roll and rolling them up and putting them in here, so the ones that are in here are, let's see, Luz Gonzalez, the Four Seasons Street Scene, my Chatelaine, the Taj Mahal mandala, the Jacobean Tree, my Four Seasons Quaker from Modern Folk Embroidery, the Paradise Floral one from Puller Design Studios, and my Leeds House sampler from Rosewood Manor. So those are all rolled up very nicely in here. And as I was rolling them up, I was like, oh, I want to work on that one. Oh boy, I really need to work some on that one. You know, this Leeds House one, that one went pretty quick. I know, I did it to myself, I know that. But it just struck me, I've got to figure out a different way so I can get more stitches and other things. And I know spreading yourself across a bunch of projects means that nothing gets done. So this is where my head explodes. I know. All right, tell me what you want me to stitch on Friday. And if it's all shades of gold, that's good. That's good. Or if it's one of these that I mentioned, that's good too. Or one of the other ones that you haven't seen in a while, that's good too. Let me know. I know there's so many, I can have 200 of you comment and everybody will be a different one. No, I don't have that many whips. All right, guys. It's been a rough weekend here. I know I'm kind of totally segueing, and it wasn't a very good segue into a more serious topic. I'm sure around the world you've heard the news of the 2 mass shootings here. They are mass murders here in the States. It has been a rough weekend. This is still my theme, but something has to change. We cannot go on. All the other countries in the world have figured this out. We haven't. I don't have words. I really don't. I'm so angry and upset with what I see in this country. I don't have words except give love, get love. Any chance you get. Lord knows we need it. The people in El Paso, the people in Dayton. I can't imagine what the kids in Parkland feel. So much hope and positive energy went into what they tried to do after the Parkland shooting. And yes, some changes were made, but not nearly enough. You know, the young kids have so much belief. And then to see it happen over and over again, at what point do you just give up? I don't think they are. But I'm sending them love as well. All right, guys. Give love, get love. Still my motto. Pray for us here. It's a mess right now. I love you guys. I will talk to you tomorrow with my review of my kits from Russia.